Hey, how's it going? I hope you're doing good. So I'm here. I'm watching watching streams. I'm watching JoeyKaotk. I don't know. You know, there's a weird thing. I was on. I got up this morning. I'm cooking some food. So cooking some food. I got bacon in the oven. I'm having a roll. I had juice earlier. I got up and had juice. So they're just like relaxing, sort of hanging out at a I think a bar. It looks nice there. So I went to his channel. First, I went to a couple other channels. A guy that had been streaming last night was still streaming. He'd been up all night streaming. But first, there was a woman in Thailand on the beach. I watched her for just a minute, and then she left the beach. And then a lot of the hot tub streams are really popular right now. So I went to a couple of the hot tub streams, just looking at them, seeing what was going on. And then somehow I saw JoeyKaotk. I follow and unfollow people all the time. So I went to his channel and didn't go to follow. I went to his channel, and as soon as I went to his channel, he had sent it to Winnie Chang. So I was watching Winnie Chang. Winnie Chang and her friend, or I don't know if it's her sister or her stepsister, were at this bar. So I started watching. They were saying he had been crying or something like that. So I asked him a little bit, and then he showed up at the bar. He goes to the bar. So I was like, oh, okay. Everything's fine, I guess. So that's good. And then another friend showed up. So they're just sort of relaxing at a bar. So I think they're in Taiwan. I think. I'm pretty sure. So, but it's her. So it's her channel. I'm not actually watching. I mean, I'm watching them both basically, or all of them there. So, and I decided to cook some bacon. I got bacon in the oven. So, hopefully that's going to be good. I'm having a roll with some bread and a soda now. So. She's showing her camera some modeling photos. Talked to my daughter for just a minute this morning. She wanted to talk to my mom. So I gotta wait, see when my mom wakes up. I just don't want to be too loud. My mom, wake up my mom, she'll be upset and come out here. I'm gonna check on the bacon. Show you the bacon. My mom got real mad, but it's cooking. So. Wow. There's still fish smell in that oven from the salmon. I can definitely tell it. Last thing I cooked for a long time in there was salmon. That oven, it's really weird. It has a rear fan, and it does have a top element, but no bottom element, so you can clean the bottom of it, which is good. I think my mom cleaned it. But once that fan or whatever circulates the air to heat it, that salmon I cooked is definitely all in there. Hold on, I gotta get it clean. I actually think I'm a donor to JoeyKaotk, and I think that's his wife or his significant other. She looks really nice. She seems really cool. So I met his dad a long time ago. So I think I worked with his mom too, but it must have been a couple years before. Sometimes you travel. Like I lived in LA, I met people. I grew up in Bellevue, Medina, Washington. So, but he doesn't, I mean, you know, different parents, multiple parents or whatever. So he's done a lot of stuff. You know, I think at some point I saw him on TV, he lived in LA and he worked in, you know, did a television show or something. And then went to Taiwan, Asia. So did a bunch of stuff out there. So then, you know, but I mean, you don't really always know. And so his dad, I don't really exactly know always what happens to his dad. I mean, all these people, I thought, oh, they died or whatever. And then maybe they didn't or they did. And it's sort of a long sort of story. There's this old video, real bad torture video of a boy like me, you know, who was tortured. And so, yeah, you have no idea, like, you know, where it was, what was happening. You know, his dad had a brother that I also knew. He was like played water polo. So I don't exactly know what happened, you know. So, and then you have other friends that you meet and stuff. You know, that's the thing, all the guys and everything down in, I think they mentioned Santa Barbara or Los Angeles, Santa Barbara area, right? Up and down that area, right? I mean, it's, you know, everything kind of goes around. It's different than women. Women that you meet or that, you know, you do stuff with, maybe they injure you or whatever, or, you know, they're older, you're younger, or you're the same age or whatever. You know, it ends up being sort of different, right? So I don't really know. I mean, you know, it ends up being kind of crazy and stuff, right? But it's cool. It's cool. I guess his resume, which isn't really a resume, it's just what he's done, is actually really good on Twitch. It basically just says, like, just really what he's been doing, what he does, which is really good. So it's cool. I mean, you know, but a lot of times I don't really know, you know, my people that I worked with, you know, or that did stuff with, right? Friend, I don't really like to use friends a lot, you know, but I mean, it was like growing up, right? Like he's wearing this blue bandana, right? We'd think the movie Colors, right, with Sean Penn and who was the other guy? Robert Duvall, right? They were cops in L.A. And then you had the black guys that were in the gang, right? You had the guys that, you know, they were introducing the Crips and the Bloods, right? The Bloods wore red, Crips wore blue, right? And it was like a segment before, you know, the rap stuff. The rap happened sort of at the same time, right? NWA and Ice Cube and Ice-T and no, I didn't mean Vanilla Ice there, but Ice-T. You get all the ice and vanilla and letters and everything. And numbers, spelling numbers, but it was kind of a crazy movie. This guy did this stunt in it that was part of the movie. I don't know if he died in the movie or something. You know, maybe it was bad, but his name was High Top in the movie. And High Top was cool because High Top was a new word, right? It was like there were shoes and boots and thongs. We didn't use sandals that much. Thongs were the rubber, you know, basically one item between your toe or whatever. You know, we didn't really call them flip-flops. They were just like thong sandals. Thong had not been used as an underwear item, right, until sort of the 90s, right, mid to late 90s. So I was like, oh, yeah, you buy, you know, a pair of thongs or whatever. If sandals had to have a buckle clasp, okay? So I wore, like, little blue sandals. We went out for breakfast or something for, like, you know, an occasion or whatever. And they had to clasp. And they basically had to be fit like shoes, but, you know, with just sort of the straps around them or whatever. And they were nicer, right? If you bought sandals, right, they were nicer than just a pair of thongs you'd wear running around. So you had shoes, boots, thongs, and sandals. And I forgot the point that I was going to say. Oh, yeah, it's a high top. So you get into, you know, basketball was becoming bigger and bigger, right? As Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was still in the league, and Magic Johnson and James Worthy in Los Angeles, right? And then Larry Bird, right? All these guys were sort of getting bigger and bigger. Before that, you pretty much just heard of, some of the guys in the 60s, right? You heard of, right? But there was, Julius Erving, Dr. J doing, huge sky dunks, right? You didn't necessarily have to be, maybe as tall as what you see now, the guys from the earlier age. So high top. So in the movie, what I remember, the cops are the cops, right? We're going to, they say some joke about women and going slow or whatever and doing everything. And they had to do this and do that. And what were the colors? We got to know all these gangs and everything. In the movie, though, this guy High Top, right? He's got a motorcycle. And he's got to somehow turn left. And in the movie, and he's going down in the motorcycle. And, they're all, fighting each other, right? Red and blue. And who's this guy? Who's that guy, right? It almost gets into sort of like, community spy type thing. And so he goes left, but the motorcycle goes straight into this store and just crashing. It wasn't like a brake side, like roll on the ground. It goes right into the store, crashes everything. And then afterward, his face is all beat up and everything, right? And that was the introduction of all this lore, right, about the gangs. Like you get beat up to be a friend and stuff like that. I mean, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense long term. So there were other movies. There were the Latino movies and about gangs and women in gangs, and then women got to do the fighting and all that stuff or whatever. So anyway, I don't know where I was thinking with that, but somehow we were teenagers or whatever. He was, I thought, Pacific Islander. I don't really know always. His dad was in sort of the baseball, Little League and stuff, and I sort of get, the longer I go, the more sort of medium confused I get. But we ended up doing a lot of stuff together. And, but I mean, it wasn't always like fun or whatever. So anyway, and then, I eventually went down to Los Angeles and was doing acting and tennis and stuff. So, but let's see how the bacon's doing. She looks really cool, which is nice. I would assume he knew her in the U.S., but I don't know. I'm just going to go look at the bacon. Alright, so the bacon on the top is done. Show the bacon over here. I gotta take it out of the oven and then set it here. I don't want it to burn. I gotta get the hot pads real quick. Oh my gosh. So here's the bacon. So basically basically what it looks like. I don't know if you can see it there. Let's see if I can get this to go. There's the bacon right in there. So I'm gonna put this on a plate, and then my mom got mad, but I am gonna try to save that bacon fat because it caused a little bit of a problem for me not being able to have this stuff. I'll use just sort of tongs, small tongs, regular size tongs. I can eat the bacon with some of the roll, right? Actually looks really good. The bacon goes here. Then I gotta let this cool, but what I'm gonna do is put it in a container so I can use it later. And I got the other bacon here, which is almost done too. It probably just needs a couple more minutes. It cooked a lot faster, which is good. Lids. No, these are the wrong lids. No, right lids? Wrong lids. Okay. Are they off? Here's this. Here's this. Where'd they go? They signed off. We're gonna go to Joey's profile. Oh no, they're on. Just the volume. They muted for a minute. That's fine. That's cool, man. You can mute that stuff, dude. Okay. I don't want it to be too hot when it goes in this plastic. I think it's cooled sufficiently. And basically, I'm just gonna pour this in here. Hot though. Whoa! Sometimes you want it to cool a little bit longer. And then basically I got bacon here. Okay, and then I saved this, but I don't want my mom to get upset. She might want to throw it out or something. Sometimes people get totally weird. Then I need to get a spatula. Just let that cool just a minute. So I'm gonna set that there. I'm gonna check on the other rest of the bacon. Well, in the meantime, I can have a couple pieces of this, right? So I'll just do, let's go a little darker, so, okay. 2 pieces of bacon. I'll do 3. Hey Mom, how's it going? Watching JoeyKaotk and Winnie Chang, and I think they're in Taiwan. I'm on Facebook too. I was cooking bacon. There's 2 slices of bacon there. I'll use that. I will use that. Yeah, no, because that's why some of the other stuff. I got more bacon in the oven. You can have that bacon right there. It just came out of the oven, and I'm gonna have 3 slices right here with some bread. I'm watching a stream. I'm posting on Facebook. About 7:30 or 8 o'clock. 8:15 almost.
None of these glasses have gone in the dishwasher?
I think. Yeah, I didn't know if you ran it overnight or not.
I want you washing. I don't want you using so many glasses here. You never have any.
Okay.
I told you that. That hand has to wash the hand.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the other bacon?
The same one, but bigger.
I don't want you eating all that bacon crap.
Well, I cook or I mix it with something.
I know you did. You put it on top of your food and it's really bad for you. Just get bigger and bigger.
It cooks faster than what I thought it was.
It's thin bacon.
No, this is Smithfield.
Yeah, it's probably thin.
Okay, well, I got it at the grocery store.
Right. That's where you buy bacon.
Let that sit just a minute. She has a really nice shirt on. It's sort of like a soft sort of white. It doesn't have sleeves. It's sort of a top, as we call it. I don't know why you say that, but it looks nice. She has a friend. Her friend's wearing a white T-shirt and her shorts or pants. I don't know. So the second bacon I took out. Cooked. No. I'm talking about I'm posting on Facebook. So. She's been streaming for 7 hours. People stream for a really long time. I guess there's a third streamer there that's not Joey. Joey, I think, was streaming for a while. A lot of people keep showing up. That's great. That's why when we were growing up, and like his dad and I, like, you know, if we did this at home, right, you could end up having a lot of people just converge on your home. And then, you know, people said, oh, you know, what's this? You know, what's this? We're going to open this, and, you know, all this type of stuff. So, you know, it ended up getting a little bit out of control sometimes, you know, growing up. So. I was lucky. As you get older, right, in your sort of 20s, 25, 30, right, all of a sudden, like he was talking about his nose there, right, all that stuff, sometimes it grows a lot more. You know, you get a little bit of hair here, and people used to joke about, I forgot that movie or whatever, where Anthony Michael Hall's talking about getting old, talking about, you know, hair growing out of the ear, you know. Anthony Michael Hall in the 80s was like a thin, nerdy type of actor, which is now sort of characterized somewhat by gamers, video gamers who get sort of large homes or houses and then, you know, get massive like video gaming type of hype type stuff, right? That's kind of what, you know, Anthony Michael Hall was in the 80s, and now I guess he's just gotten ridiculously big. The last movie I saw him, he was some army guy in fatigues. In that Brad Pitt movie, he totally bulked up. He looked massively different. But growing up, he was like a thin, nerdy guy. It was like that sort of avenue in the United States about, you know, how you're going to make money or get things done. Are you patting the bacon? Or you're patting your bacon? Okay. Okay, so anyway. So I was like, you know, in the 80s, we didn't really have a lot. I mean, you could be like total nerd, but you'd have to like start Microsoft, right? Or like, you know, start Apple Computer, right? There just wasn't a lot of avenues. You had Matthew Broderick who did War Games, right? Which was sort of like, you know, you'll get busted, you know, using a modem, right? Because you'll infiltrate something, you know, with nuclear or whatever. And then he went off and sort of basically did, you know, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which was, you know, skipping school with your guy and girlfriend, and, you know, sort of getting hustled with the car park and you know, running around in a, you know, parade in downtown Chicago, right? So there wasn't really that avenue, right, for the, you know, the nerd type thing. And then I guess in the, you know, 90s they did startups and stuff like that. But I mean, growing up in the 80s, those early, you know, mid to late 90s movies, that's what Anthony Hall was, right? Sort of that, what are you going to, you know, what would you do if you weren't, like, you know, big, you couldn't, you know, how would you make money or whatever? You know, I don't know, I guess that was sort of the 80s kind of thing, right? If you want to make a lot of money or whatever. There was so much fitness going on, so much athletics, right? And I guess eventually there was the startups, right? But then that was the .com, you know, bust, .com boom and bust, right? And then you know, I don't know, I guess, you know, you sort of had sort of the gambling, gaming type of thing, right? You know, it'd be sort of a smaller, you know, U.S. guy, right? Like running around, you know, making bigger risk and money or whatever, right? The hacker idea kind of didn't fade, but, you know, wasn't necessarily true anymore, right? I'm gonna go do this bacon here. You can see where they're at. See, they're just hanging out. It looks good. It looks fun. Okay, so we're gonna bacon on the plate here. Do you made a plate of bacon for yourself, Mom? Hold on. What? Because there's still one piece on the plate. Oh, okay. Did you put the paper towel on this plate, or you had your own plate?
No.
Okay, because you were. Did you use this?
What difference does it make?
Because you didn't use a paper towel on this plate. You had another plate.
I didn't use another plate. I didn't use any plate, and I didn't put any paper towel on your plate.
Oh, you didn't know? So you put the paper towel on the counter and ate a piece of bacon? I'm just wondering, because it didn't make any sense. I was confused.
No.
Okay.
You're fine. You're fine.
Well, I know I'm fine, Mom, but when I was growing up, every time anybody in my family, either on my dad's side or my mom's side, made bacon, we usually did it on the stove and it splattered a lot. But then we put the bacon on a plate with paper towels to absorb the fat. As I've gotten older and I started cooking on my own, I said, hey, I don't actually want that paper towel absorbed because I end up just throwing it away, right? This ends up being, nutrient-rich food. So I want to eat this.
Fat.
So I just put it on a plate. I don't know if I can do this. I can't.
If that's hot, it'll melt it.
No. I
Just don't want it all over.
no. I gotta get the spatula. It's a little bit heavy to sort of pick up with the spatula. All right. And this goes in the refrigerator. I can later go in the freezer. But initially, I just put it in the refrigerator.
Put the lid on.
It's the lid's on. I have a couple more pieces of bacon. Getting a pinch in the bottom of my foot. Dry air here, man. Got a napkin.
When Jimmy gets up there, he gotta do that upstairs.
Eat the bacon?
Oh,
Oh, the video.
I'm probably in the movies too. If they like the movie.
Oh, there's a dog out there. There's a dog. Black dog running around with a white tail. It's big. Being all. Tishka. Wow. I almost try to not watch her, but she is really pretty in Russia. I'm banned from chat. She's doing exercise.
Is this true? Can you summon?
Maybe, I don't know how I got banned from chat. Request unban.
The whole world will be after you.
Okay, here are my comments. Get the 3 rotating turtles. You can shoot each one and they are guided. She was playing Mario Kart. I think your stream is good. And since I thought her Mario Kart version was new, I said they must not have 3 rotating turtles in the Mario Kart version of this Nintendo game. Oh, I was using the voice remote and it totally ruined it. I didn't actually type this. Hyena Trisket, you just changed your clothes, your outfit, you put on a different dress. I tried to use the I tried to use the voice remote to say Tishka, and it translated it to Hyena Trisket, which was wrong. So I'm gonna put that. Tell the channel mods why you should return to chat. Amazon Fire. 4K. Voice remote changed in quotes Tishka into Hyena Trisket. What happened? It totally, okay. Why can't I get the keyboard to remove? I have to retype it. This is a difficult computer. Okay. Fire TV 4K. Let's look at it. Voice remote changed Tishka into, do I have a space there? I think that's a space. Into Hyena Trisket. Okay. Submit. I don't know. I think she's playing an exercise video game. She's wearing just sort of regular clothing today. It's about.
Okay, Eric, I'm turning on the music.
All right.
So you go upstairs.
Let me finish this.
I don't want this going with me as yet. So just.
No, let me just finish this, and then I'll go upstairs. I'll put away the. Do you want me to leave out the bacon for you guys?
No.
Well, doesn't Jim want bacon?
I don't know.
You can have a couple pieces of bacon.
Okay. Well, put it over here, Ray.
Okay. You want me to put it on that one or this one? This one?
Leave it on the plate. I don't care. Put it over here. Yep. I'm going to turn on the news. So if they want to listen to it, I guess. They're probably in the Fox News.
My shit. For campaign website, Caitlin for California. It doesn't list up many other politics.
Who fussed with this TV?
What?
Did you fuss with this TV?
No, I didn't.
Somebody did because everything has changed.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. I tried to come down and fix it. You know, the TV had apps on it. The other day, I was watching YouTube
On my TV down here,
on the TiVo. The TiVo has access to the internet with apps.
okay, well, I'd rather you not do it
So-
because now it's all
Well,
screwed
no.
up.
I know.
If I have to pay for somebody to come, I'll just take it.
So I came downstairs and Dad said, you know, hey, I'd like to watch something other than Fox News.
Yeah.
Is there any other news on? So it was 6 o'clock, like or 7 o'clock after the local news was done. So I said, oh, why don't I just go to the YouTube app or see if there's that news app? Because there's a news app that has different news. You know, you can try to find other news on the news app. But something got messed up with it. I couldn't even find the apps on there. I was
Yeah,
like,
we're
who adjusted
off
this?
the
What
TV.
happened?
We don't have any of our programs.
Okay, well, I didn't do that. Okay, somebody, just like my phone disappeared, my
Your
wallet
phone
disappeared.
is upstairs.
You found it?
No.
Okay,
Where
so
did you
my
take
new
it?
Motorola phone that I bought
Yeah.
when I was in a shelter in downtown Seattle,
Okay.
and I paid for a year of service,
It's
has now
upstairs.
disappeared. Okay, I sound crazy if I say it was stolen when Maria came over.
Maria wasn't here.
Exactly. See, I sound crazy. Okay, my wallet disappeared. Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's all.
it's all me. But where have I been? I didn't go out drinking. I didn't go out riding my bike.
Stop. You don't ride a bike. You're too fast.
Everything disappeared before I went for a walk to the post office yesterday. Okay? So, I don't know what to tell you. You know, fooling with the TV and stuff is no longer me.
This was the scene on the streets of New York City. Violence last night. Protesters fighting with police and others vandalizing statues around Central Park, dousing them with graffiti that talks about anti-police. Good morning, everybody. I'm Bill Henry. Welcome to the end of the week. This is America's Newsroom, and Jillian, welcome back to you. Good morning.
Thank you. Bill, I've been dying to ask you all morning. I got some great news. You get 100 points if you can guess what it is.
Okay, that's Friday. We know that. Right?
You got it.
That's a Fox bet.
I'm just honored y'all invited me back on your favorite day of the week.
Great to have you back. You bet.
I'm obviously, for everybody at home, and for Dana Perino today, it's great to be with you. So tensions are now on the rise after a fatal police shooting of an Ohio teenager revealed in the night. We are now getting video.
I'm gonna
of
kill
that
another girl.
incident. It was captured on a neighbor's home security camera nearby. That neighbor tells Fox News the officer quote,
Okay, that's gonna work. I told you before, I want to listen to my news.
Okay. I'm already following.
We are also learning what may have sparked the fight that ended with the riot going after two of the girls of the night and then being shot by police. A 16-year-old girl's foster mom told CNN that the fight that you see happening in this driveway started over an argument about an unmade bed and a messy house.
I need another soda.
Two of her former foster children came over to her house Tuesday to celebrate her birthday, and after they got there, they told Micaiah to clean up the house because mom doesn't like it dirty. Witnesses say that argument escalated until Micaiah charged the two other girls with the knife. We now have surveillance video of that encounter from a neighbor across the street who tells Fox News more people could have died if that officer hadn't taken action.
The dishwasher's running.
Not fired, and the young lady got stabbed.
You don't listen.
I can't tell.
I just told
I
you
can't
it was
hear you.
running.
The man responded and shot.
Go upstairs.
What, you press start?
No, it's running.
I'm
Go
getting another
upstairs.
soda and go upstairs.
We're also now hearing from Micaiah's mom, who says she doesn't want the world
Put
to
your
remember
dishes
her
in.
daughter
I will.
for those final fatal moments.
You She should have been out there with the night. Relatively fair. Look, I was beautiful.
Yesterday, we told you about another fight between two 13-year-old girls that escalated to one girl stabbing and killing the other with a pocket knife. The girl with the knife has now been charged with murder and assault, and the family of the victim, Nyara Gibbons, says the pain they are feeling now is immeasurable. Jillian?
Garrett, 10 live in Chicago.
We're going to pick up a little bit more on that story out of Cincinnati. Dan Hill is president of the Cincinnati Fraternal Order of Police. And Dan, welcome to our program here today. 13-year-old dead, another charge of murder. What happened there?
Well, Bill, just like you described in Columbus, it was young ladies that knew each other, and somehow they got into disagreement, and that disagreement led to a stabbing. So you actually had what could have happened in Columbus, is the one for the police officer happened in Cincinnati. A 13-year-old, a very young, innocent 13-year-old was stabbed and killed, and I can only imagine that her parents, her family, her loved ones would have loved to have a police in there that could have intervened.
Sergeant, were the police called in that situation?
Well, they weren't there on the scene. I'm sure they were called afterwards, but they arrived to do what, you know, the Columbus police officer did, which was act heroically and saved a life in that particular case.
I wanted to ask you about what your take is on Columbus, and I'm certain you probably have expected to ask a reaction about what they say on The View. Joy Behar made this point this week. I just wanted to say this.
I looked at the tape and I still can't figure it out. Shoot the gun in the air with a warning, tase a person, shoot them in the leg, shoot them in the behind, stop them somehow. But if the only solution is to kill a teenager, there's something wrong with this.
There's been a lot of questions about that. LeBron James' tweet has been taken down. He tweeted out a picture of the cop in Columbus and he said, "You're next," and then with the hashtag accountability. Why do protesters tweets from
Put the butter away.
All these things in my pockets, my pants are falling
Well,
down.
of course, all the protests, all the tweets are always about police. You know, that's the ridiculousness of this whole situation. You know, in Cincinnati last year, we had 94 homicides, and most of them were black-on-black homicides. You know, with police intervention deaths that we had in your hometown last year.
Watching videos is too tough. Plug in here. That's what happened yesterday. Who's that? Rapper Gemmo?
go to the. Let's see the YouTube on Vizio. Might have to clip my toenails. All right, so here's reacting to Russell Westbrook saying he can do everything on the. There's no final word in that sentence from ESPN. It's 6:54. Let's see what we got to say here.
Hey, sometimes that's it. I agree. Kawhi make exercise, some Sixers. This game was a bit nutso. Watch Devin Booker take the inbound, run in a giant circle, and then end up where he started before hitting the jumper. I mean, Ramona, I'm tired of watching him.
Yeah, but he's running the clock out. That's all right.
Great clock management. Great clock management.
They don't want to foul Brooke, though.
I'm excited to see that he has a nice running mate in Chris Paul. I always thought he was one of the great young players in the game.
This is a hell of a road trip for Phoenix, though.
Yeah.
Good win. Milwaukee, now
Really
Philly.
over everything for Phoenix, right? The last week, the last month, the whole season. It's been so good. Our resident Suns fan on our staff, our researcher Michael Schwartz, he's just fun. He's been so happy this year. All right, Miss Hometown Rims. Just a little more than 10 seconds later, same game, CP3 missing the free throw, up by 3 with less than a second left, and yeah, we should have did this at the top, and he almost pulled off the miracle from 94 feet. How do you feel, Matt?
It's a great shot. I mean, if it would have went in, obviously it would have probably been the shot of the year.
It went in the hoop.
Way down. Look how far
It was halfway in the hoop and bounced out off the backboard.
No, he would not have won it.
It went right off the backboard and it was halfway in the hoop and it gets spit out. Right there, Joel Embiid, top of right in the center of the backboard. It's halfway in the hoop and bounces back out.
Showing off Chris Clips. Watch the fancy handles from Ja. Hello, fake out.
Oh,
Fake out. Then drilled the 3 over Zubac.
poor Zoo.
I mean,
Like, just don't fall down. Please don't fall down.
I know. We were trying to rank who the most fun players to watch in the NBA this season. John's in the top 5, right?
There's no question.
Oh, yeah.
And they got, what's his name?
I thought they were going to talk about Russell Westbrook.
I like that Lou Williams head nod right there.
He's like, yeah,
Yeah, I don't care.
I see it.
Man, he saw the big guy out there like, oh.
I know. So it's encore moves like this. It's of course the dunks. It's the dunks that don't make it. But my favorite is watching the trash talk because this young man is scared of absolutely no one. All right, miss everything. Warriors, Wizards. Real nice ISO here from Andrew Wiggins.
Oh.
And all that too. Air fault.
That is an air ball, and normally you want to talk. That is a hell of a move and a very skilled, difficult move that he put on. I mean, look, the guy didn't even put his brakes on. He's just like, all right, you got me. He just air ball shot. That's a hell of a move on Wiggins.
Yeah, I mean,
Got to make it though.
I don't want to say anything too mean. Look, it's such a good move. It looks good. It looks like it should be an all-star. And then it's a miracle.
You know what I have to say? Look out for the Washington Wizards, people.
6 in a row. 6 in a row. Who is it?
Second longest win streak in the league. Yes, Ramona, 6 in a row there. Shut down the previously on fire Steph Curry last night. His streak of 30-point nights is over now.
14 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists in win versus Warriors last night. That's a triple-double.
Clearly not struggling with his confidence either, because when is he? Check out what he said after the game.
My job changes every night, and I feel like I'm one of those players that I need to defend at a high level.
can do that too. I need to score a high level, I can do that. Pass, I can do that. Rebound, I can do that. Want me to coach, I can do that too. I just feel like I can do everything.
You heard the man. Would you like to be coached by Russell Westbrook?
Probably not coached. I would have loved to play with someone like Russ. I mean, if you're going to war, Russ is someone you guys take. I think he's undervalued and underappreciated. He's made the triple-double look so easy that I don't think we appreciate how actually hard they are now. I mean, he's on the verge of breaking Oscar Robinson's record. I'm not sure how many, I think 12 or 11 away from breaking his record, but Russ is one of those guys, no matter what, you know what kind of effort you're going to get from when he's on the court. And he took a bad situation. People thought, man, is he going there to end his career? And turned it into a situation where, 6 wins in a row. I think they're in the 10th spot right now and playing really well, him and Brad Beal.
So, Russ has always been able to do all of that. He's always had that full game. The question was, does he know how to pick his spots? Does he know how to do all of it in one game and when he should do all of it? And I think as he gets older, and we've had a lot of questions about whether his athleticism will translate as he gets older, that's what the key for him is going to be in the second part of his career here, in the latter stages of his career. Can he defend and also score? Can he defend and also have enough energy to get those 20 rebounds like he did last night? In the past, he's put so much on himself to score, to be the #1 guy, to carry the team. And I think a lot of his coaches and a lot of his former teams would say, hey, you don't need to do all of that. We need you to save yourself, right? We don't need you. We don't need you to
try that three-pointer.
Yeah.
As you get up, can you downshift and still have, the same impact on the game as you had when you were in practice? Russ has always been a guy that's played 100 miles an hour, so now you're seeing him picking and choosing his spots, and it shows. You still see how explosive he is because he's not running 100 miles an hour now. He's taking his time and
March 1st, 2003. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, is founded within the Department of Homeland Security, which opened its doors the same day to unify our national security efforts in the wake of the nation's deadliest terror attacks. With operations beginning less than 20 years ago, it may appear to some that ICE is a young agency in a new department. History, however, tells a different story. The functional history of ICE is rooted in our country's earliest days. In 1787, a series of anonymously authored essays known as the Federalist Papers were published throughout the newly formed United States of America. Through these essays, Alexander Hamilton and fellow founding fathers James Madison and John Jay presented a vision of government for our emerging nation. Facing significant debt from the Revolutionary War and no incoming revenue, Hamilton argued that taxing imports would help sustain our nation's growth, prosperity, and defense. To support this, the Tariff Act of 1789 was passed. Later that year, the U.S. Treasury Department was established to oversee the collection and distribution of this money. Leading the new administration was Alexander Hamilton, our nation's first Secretary of the Treasury. Throughout our history, revenue collection responsibility remained with the U.S. Treasury under a succession of leaders, including the Comptroller, the Division of Customs Chief, the Bureau of Customs Commissioner, and eventually the U.S. Customs Service Commissioner, where it remained for 30 years until the Homeland Security Department was created. As the United States grew, the framework of customs administration took on greater enforcement responsibility, with stations dotted along many of our national borders. The U.S. Customs Service was uniquely suited to manage regulations related to importation, border traffic, and immigration. In the decades following our independence, the U.S. encouraged a relatively open immigration policy, and the influx of new citizens came at a manageable pace. But starting in the late 1800s, coinciding with the railroad boom and the Second Industrial Revolution, there was a sharp increase in the demand for affordable labor. Newly acquired territories invited significant westward migration. Across the ocean, a mix of war, religious and political oppression, collapsing economies, and famine fueled a wave of people coming to America in search of the economic and educational opportunities that later formed the core of the American dream. This influx of people put pressure on Congress to regulate the immigration process, leading to some of the first laws to combat human trafficking, child exploitation, and forced labor. The nation also began collecting additional revenue by placing a 50-cent head tax on each newly arriving immigrant, creating another revenue stream for the country. Through the latter half of the 1800s, the U.S. Customs Service was responsible for administering new and increasingly complex immigration laws. A distinct agency was needed to handle this important work. This would become the Bureau of Immigration within the Department of Commerce and Labor, allowing the Customs Service to focus on border security and preventing the importation of potentially dangerous goods from abroad. When alcohol prohibition went into effect in the year 1920, the production, sale, and importation of alcoholic beverages became illegal in the United States. While the Prohibition Unit within the Bureau of Internal Revenue was responsible for enforcing the federal ban on domestic production and sale of alcohol, the task of seizing alcohol imported from abroad fell to the U.S. Customs Service. Despite these new bureaucracies and restrictions, American growth was unparalleled for the next 50 years. From 1892 to 1954, more than 12 million immigrants entered the United States through New York City's Ellis Island. Customs and immigration authorities, including administrative, legal, and enforcement functions, all work together to secure our borders and strengthen our economy throughout the 20th century. Then, in the early hours of a clear blue late summer morning, the entire world appeared to stop. It was September 11, 2001. 19 men boarded 4 commercial airliners and carried out a coordinated series of savage attacks on the United States of America. In the weeks and months to follow, a key part of our national response was to create the Department of Homeland Security, and within that department, ICE. Our efforts focus on dismantling transnational criminal organizations, preventing human trafficking and drug smuggling, battling cybercrime, rescuing victims of child predators and human traffickers, protecting intellectual property rights, and removing criminal aliens. We arrest and remove those who are illegally present in the country, including those who have ignored a judge's final order of removal and committed additional crimes. We work to strengthen the integrity of our entire immigration system, and our attorneys play a vital role in removal cases, including those against criminal aliens, terrorists, and human rights abusers. If that sounds like more than just collecting tariffs and enforcing immigration laws, well, it is. After combining the customs and immigration responsibilities that evolved over time, you get ICE, protecting the nation's interests at home and abroad. ICE enforces nearly 450 criminal statutes and employs more than 20,000 people throughout the United States and in dozens of foreign countries. On an average day, ICE agents and officers make hundreds of criminal and civil arrests, seize millions in illegal currency, rescue victims of child predators and human traffickers, while also blocking thousands of malware attackers, seizing tons of illegal narcotics, and initiating investigations into sensitive technology theft. History shows the connections between those who came before us and the men and women who compose today's U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement workforce are clear. The Customs Service was created to guarantee revenue collected by our nation was used to help it grow and keep it safe. The Immigration and Naturalization Service was created to ensure people coming to the U.S. were arriving lawfully and determined to help our growing nation prosper and thrive. More than 200 years later, that's precisely what the men and women of ICE are continuing to do.
It is a fairly young agency by some standards. We were formed right after 9/11.
How far this agency has come.
ICE is really moving into its own as a sophisticated law enforcement agency.
We are doing some of the most exciting commerce buildings that morning. And I had a TV in the office I had never used. I'd only been there a month or so. Turned it on and watched as we all watched that horrible event. But I remember also the next day, we were really thinking about, okay, what is our response going to be as a country? And I remember feeling very confident that we would, and we would respond in a very strong way. And when that phone call came, I really felt that in my own small way, this was an opportunity to help in that response. The budget was the biggest challenge I faced as Assistant Secretary, keeping the lights on. So, but while the challenges were many, the opportunities were great. From day one, you have an incredible array of talent and dedication. Yes, there were difficulties. Yes, they, had issues with some of the ways that this had come about, but that never interfered, I felt, with their dedication to the mission.
When I started at ICE, we still had budget challenges. And the agency also had broader structural challenges. It was going through a lot of growing pains in terms of really reasserting its leadership in certain enforcement areas. On the detention and legal side, there were also a lot of challenges. The American people in Congress really wanted us to be more efficient, and so we had to start thinking about business process and how can we really improve or re-engineer removal to make it side that we were able to get to a clean audit in terms of our budget numbers. And that was very, very important for Congress in terms of continuing to give us the funding we need to succeed. I was very proud of our special agents and the record numbers that they set in terms of export enforcement investigations, IPR investigations, immigration fraud investigations, and money laundering. And so they created some new centers like the IPR Center to really capitalize on all of our resources and use them more effectively. Got to throw in the lawyers, the ICE lawyers, I think do a terrific job. There are a lot of authorities that hadn't been used in the same kind of ways. We were looking for the first time in bringing a trafficking investigation, how can we use asset forfeiture? So there are a lot of things that we were doing for new times and new ways, and the lawyers made a big difference in that. Well, I think the day that we opened the new building was such a wonderful time at ICE. The agency really did not have a headquarters that suited the men and women and the great work that they had done, and there was such pride at the agency in opening up a new building that really showed what a professional law enforcement agency had, and that was quite a memorable day for me.
Hi, John Morton, do solemnly swear. When I walked into ICE on my first day, I inherited an agency that was very different than my two predecessors. Mike Garcia had to build this agency from scratch. Julie put the professional management in place that was necessary. I wanted to go from that place where people were questioning why we existed and what we were doing to that point where people recognized ICE as a major force in law enforcement. It is a very significant, one of the things I do think I have brought to
They need Motorola phones and used
a
wallets.
greater sense of identity, who we are and what we do.
We're here, we're not going anywhere, and we're going to be attacking them tomorrow in the same fashion.
I wanted to recognize DRO for what it was, an essential player in HSI, tremendous investigative capabilities and powers. We wanted to elevate that function so that it got the credit it was due. OPRA reviewed every single case on the innovation court docket and bringing discipline and some order to that. I wanted to make sure that management and administration was recognized for what it was, on par with the rest of the components of this agency.
I'm the fourth director who is presidentially appointed, Senate confirmed for the agency, and there have been some acting directors as well, thank goodness, that they have stepped in to keep the agency going.
It is a huge humanitarian crisis on the border right now.
I came on right at the heels of this tremendous influx of people coming in. They were trying to get into the country often because of their economic challenges in their homes, violence in the Central American countries. Obviously, there is a process to follow to come into the United States, and many of these people are not following that process. But in the end, they're people just like our citizens, and
Mom, can you transfer money? Oh, I can't reach it. Mom, can you transfer money?
Why are you on the internet watching me watching my phone in a club? You're a lame nerd.
Mom, can you transfer money? Mom. Because sometimes they ask on the internet for a bank account, like an electronic check instead of the card, because they said it would be 3 days on Saturday. So maybe we can go try to get the mail today, but at least I'll have money in the account. Because sometimes they ask for an electronic check. You know, you can give them the routing number and the bank account number. You don't need to use the credit or the bank card or whatever. And then how are we going to pay my phone bill? Are you going to help me pay my phone bill? Because it's due in a few days, I think. A week, I think. No, the 4th of May. So I'm not going to be able to pay it with 1 week. So can we pay it today? All right. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.